Hello again. Can everybody hear me now?
We
Yes.
can hear you, Ken.
Excellent. All right. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for sticking around and joining us. I know we took a lot of time already. So hopefully you can find some of, and I'm not going to do a complete product dump on you. I promise you that. I'm going to show you the important stuff that we think that you need every day. And that's going to probably focus on the financials. You guys do a lot of great things every day. But I've yet to have a contractor say, you know what, I'm making way more money than I thought I was going to make. If we do have somebody that says that, please let me know, because that would be great. With all the moves that I made with FedEx, it would be like somebody's telling me that they didn't spend enough money on a house that they bought when they moved. So with that, I'm going to share my screen here, and can you guys now see our portal here? All right, excellent. So please, anybody can chime in and ask a question at any time. First thing that I like to focus on when I'm showing the system is this is the dashboard. Talks about compliance, organization, and profitability. Your expiring DOT items for your drivers and your trucks is a compliance thing. Of course, e-time is for clocking in, clocking out for your drivers. Also, that app allows your drivers to view their schedule, make time off requests, enter expenses, any of those things. Another compliance thing is your safety compliance. You do have to have your drivers in an ongoing safety program, even on top of the Train the Trainer program. eTruckBiz is one of those safety providers for both line haul and P&D. And then the fun stuff. Let's talk about profitability. Here we go. What are your stops per dispatch? And everybody knows your stops per dispatch determine how much revenue per truck you're putting on the road that day. And in reality, this thing should not look like an EKG. You should have just about the same stops per day goal throughout the week. I would say your Saturdays should be your highest day, so it might vary, and you want to have more stops per driver day on a Saturday. Monday, sometimes with bulk, can be difficult. If you deliver Sundays, you should see some decent productivity then. Why Saturday and Sunday are the most productive? Once again, you aren't strapped down by pickups. You aren't strapped down by multiple package stops.
Are you on the next call?
Is there a question out there?
Oh, yeah, I'm on it.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to switch over to, I'm going to hit the money sign here.
I think they can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, John. So if you can mute your mic, you'd be all right. So I'm going to hit the dollar sign here. And I'm going to go to the op metrics. This data becomes available at 9 o'clock every night. If you're a subscriber, you get this data. You also get an end of day report where we give you a little bit of the summary information. So let's move back to say it was 9 o'clock on a Friday night. So I'm going to go to say it was last Friday night. I can now see what my estimated revenue was. You can also get this on our Biz Tracker. I can see my estimated revenue per dispatch, my average, what my stops were, and how many dispatches I had. Now you can see what do we add when you come into the system. You get your revenue per stop. I get my on-road hours, and I get my on-road hours per dispatch. You can set goals over here. You know, how much revenue per dispatch am I looking for? And how do you figure that out? A lot of people say, how do I get to that goal? If you are in an area where you're driving less than 100 miles per day, you really want to use a number that is based off of what your driver's wages are. So if your driver's daily wages are $200 per day and you want to keep your labor at 45%, you've got to get to $450 per dispatch. If your drivers are making $180 a day, that comes down to 400. Okay. But the key is here, I've got to keep my wages at 45% of revenue. When you get into a rural area and you're running 150 to 200 miles, labor isn't the challenge at that point, it's your fuel. Normally, your fuel should be about 11% of your revenue. Well, what we're seeing in the rural areas, it's pushing 18 to 20%. So at that point, if I am running 7 points over that 11%, if I'm running 18% for fuel, guess what? I have to bring my labor percentage down from 45. I got to bring it down 7 points. Okay. So I got to get it down to 38% of my revenue. Okay. So if it's 500 times 0.38, still could pay my driver $190 a day. Okay. But then what you're trying to do is line out there and keep your fuel in cost. Okay. Hopefully I'm not losing people. If you do have questions, please contact me about that. But this tool is absolutely critical. This is just for one day. And if you have multiple CSAs, you can break this down by CSA. So I can take a quick snapshot and see how I did. Here, this guy's doing 126 stops per dispatch on road, 8 hours, and generating $410 worth of revenue. So he's got two very distinct CSAs. 108 stops per dispatch, only on road 6.08, but generate more revenue per dispatch. So what's making that up? Or is it a miles situation? Is it a density situation? The revenue per dispatch, the revenue per stop varies as well. This one's all the way down at 325 per stop. So I would say this would be a much denser route, but just think of this, at 126 stops, he's only generating 410. If he's paying $200 per day, his finances are upside down. If I wanted to get to $450 per dispatch, what do? I take 450. I know my revenue per stop is 325. I take 450 divided by 325. I have to get to 138 stops per dispatch to generate $450 worth of revenue. Okay. Now, at 7.96 on-road hours, that might not be possible. So we got to see here, is it a productivity issue? I'm not sure. Well, let's see what his stops per hour are. So if he does 126 stops per driver, I divide it by 7.96. This day is doing 15.8 stops per hour. Now, remember, if we go back to the power of one, can he get it up to 16.8 stops per hour? I don't know. Normally, you can find 1 stop per hour. In this operation, you only have to do it on 4 trucks. Okay. But you can see this operation is much more challenging. As any urban or suburban areas are. You might have a CSA that's designed that you have to deliver 150 stops per driver day to get your desired revenue per dispatch. Not every person can do 150 stops per driver day. So it can be a methods thing, it can be an effort thing, or it can be a desire thing. So it just depends. You have to understand, you got to know what your goals are, and do you have the right people to do that? In this CSA, a lot less on-road hours. They only have to do 108, generating that. Chances are this is much rural. I've yet to find anybody who can't drive a truck 55 miles per hour. But once again, not everybody can deliver 155 stops in a suburban or urban area, but anybody can drive that truck down a county road at 55 miles per hour. Any questions about this? Bob, you're on. Am I missing anything here?
No, you got it all, Ken.
Okay. The other good thing about this, I definitely want to know how I did yesterday. But if I want to look at my trends, I want to look at April. So I've got basically the whole month of April here, and it's going to match my pay. I've got it run Saturday through Friday. I got my estimated revenue for the month. I got my estimated revenue per dispatch, revenue per stop, revenue per dispatch here. Once again, I can split it by CSA as well. I get my trend line as well, so I can see how was doing at the beginning of the month, how I finished. I can see my good days and my bad days. And normally your revenue per dispatch goes up on, in this case, Saturdays, because what we do here, we take your fixed settlement components and divide it by the number of days that you're running that week. And of course, your stops are down on Saturdays, so your revenue per stop increases. Okay, so use this data, see which days you've done well on, see which days you fell below the goal, but use it daily and then look at that historical data as well. And as I said on the last call, if I want to look at this by work area, I can do that as well. So I can see what my work area is generating. And because all work areas are not created equal. And I can look at this for opportunities to add, but this looks like it's not a big operation, 4 trucks, but if you looked at every work area was between 7.8 and I think the most might have been 8.1. There's a lowest, 7.17 on-road hours. So that work area does have some capacity. This one's right at 8 hours. So you can kind of see if you're balancing your dispatch. Overall, I would say this is a great job of balancing the dispatch for this CSA. If I go to his other CSA here, and I look at it by work area, I might get a bigger variance. We shall see here. 5.74. I think I've got some opportunity here. 5.94. I think we've got some opportunity here. And this is where I know a lot of CSPs get frustrated with the offers that come from FedEx. But when FedEx sees numbers like this, they see capacity. And what they're saying is, guess what? If I kept this driver on the road another hour, quite frankly, he could deliver 20 more stops. So, and 20 more stops at 4.09 is another $84. So rather than generating $499, I'm going to generate $583 per dispatch. So when
Hey,
you
Ken.
can, go ahead.
Hey, also too, when you do that, there's a chance you may have been able to pull a truck off the road. Which anytime you can do that, the better. It's less labor, less fuel cost, less maintenance costs.
Less chance for an accident, less chance for a complaint. So please, I firmly believe this is absolutely the most powerful tool that is offered in the industry, because you get it daily, you get it in real time, and then it's still tracking historical data as well. Okay. Other thing that we have here that kind of goes along with this is going to be what we call our optics app. So I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to share screen.
Hey, Ken, while
Yeah.
you're pulling that up, if anyone's out there that's new or that has been a subscriber that don't use the eTruckBiz P&D driver app, you want help demoing that to your drivers, let me know. I can do that for you.
Okay. So basically, this is the op metrics in real time. It's also the deep and dirty dive for the biz tracker. Okay. So you can see here, I've got my inbound local service. I've got 3 exceptions that have counted against me. I've got my status of my pickups. I've done 29 of 76, done 871 of my 1490 stops, and here's my progress. So if you're using the biz tracker, you're used to seeing this information. Okay, if you're a subscriber, you say, I want to go deeper. Okay, I want to see, here's my stops per hour. I've got that. I've got it by route. I can see what the driver's averaging currently, how many stops they've completed, how many stops they have left. And I can see this for every one of my routes. It estimates the finish time. So during peak, if you see somebody's going to finish really late, or in this case, really early, 1:53 p.m., guess what? We didn't give this guy enough work. 7:37 p.m., 7:34 p.m. Am I going to have to get some help to this driver? Or do I think that this person can pick it up? My guess is yes, but just in case I'm not sure, I click on it. I can see which stops they've done and which stops they have left. And you can see this one's done some rural areas first. Got an exception noted here. And right here, I can see all the deliveries. So going to be a little more dense coming up. Probably not going to panic on this one yet. You can see their pickups. You can see their exceptions. When we go to time definite, we will have the time definite stops listed by work area as well. Once again, this is going to help you track all of your time definites. Come back here. What was I saying about my revenue? I need to keep my labor at 45% of my revenue, correct? So just looking at this, I think I've got a successful day here. So what can I do? I can click on it. If I put my payroll rules in, I can now see my cost per route, and I can see what the route's going to generate in revenue. And I can see this on every one of my routes. And this is in real time, okay? What else can I see? I got my expiring DOT items here. I got my safety compliance. I got scheduling requests, got messaging. Oh yeah. I can see that I dispatch at 93 stops per driver day. It's Tuesday. Last Tuesday, I dispatched at 91 stops. So we have made a 2 stop per driver day increase today. Great. And I can kind of track. What I'm worried about is what last week I went from 91 to 85 stops. What am I going to do tonight in my plan to make sure that I stay at 91 or start to push to 99 rather than drop down to 85? Okay. So this tool in real time, op metrics at the end of the day, nothing better to really help the profitability in your operation. Now, I'm going to show you one other thing that we have just recently added, which is quite frankly better than sliced bread. Under our human resource tab, and you can see here, gross pay calculator. So if I've set up payroll rules on all of my employees, I got my list of my employees. I can see my default payment method per day, hourly. This one's not set. So guess what? I got a warning there that it's not set. got vehicles in there, and I got gross pay history. So I'm going to calculate my gross pay wages. I can pick any day here. So say I chose last week. Click here. I can also apply thresholds. It's got a dummy amount set here, but you can change those. And I can see each employee, what their rate of pay is, what their base pay is. Guess what? If they get in a vehicle under 10,000 pounds, we're going to alert you right here. If they achieve a certain threshold and you want to pay them over that threshold, you can do that. All I have to do is just say, okay, for every stop over 110, this person gets $1 per stop. And then once I hit calculate, it would change that. So I'm going to hit calculate here. So I don't know how many stops that guy did. It might not change it at all. Now he didn't do enough stops to change that, but it would then create their actual adjusted gross pay. Like I said, this is brand new, extremely powerful, should absolutely reduce the amount of time that you and your managers spend calculating payroll each week. We're going to pull all the WSWs for your stop thresholds. We're going to see if people are in vehicles under 10,000 pounds. Is there anybody out there who would like a deeper dive into this from me? I can definitely do that for you. And are there any comments about this? We got quiet group today. I got a question in my chat here. All right. So I know Jenna put in the chat the link to the free trial. If you're not a subscriber, would definitely encourage you to do the free trial. You have access to everything that I showed you today during the free trial. I think it's incredibly powerful system to really keep you compliant, organized, and as I said, profitable. And more so, you're tracking your profitability every single day. In the old days, it was, okay, my checking account's bigger on this Friday than it was last Friday, so I had a good week. Can't do that anymore. So you got to know what's happening every day. And with this payroll calculator, quite frankly, you get to see it every week what you spent on your payroll, and you know it's done right. I mean, even on the FedEx website, they said starting May that the new hour compliance audits are coming. They toned it down a little bit last year. The year before, they probably audited 50% of the CSPs. You don't want to have a failed compliance audit. And this tool can help ensure that you pass that compliance audit. Okay.
Hey, Ken.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, and that's why everybody. I'm Bob Teal, and I focus on the DRO and work area planning, anything FCC. I do a lot of the coaching, but that's why the op metrics that you showed first is so important, because if Saturday starts your week. If all of a sudden Saturday, you're not hitting your goal on Saturday, okay, it gives you 5 more days to hit that goal. But the thing is, just don't overlook it. Let your BCs know, hey, we need to be at X amount of stops for driver day, and you got to have that goal. And even if it's taking your stops per on-road hour average, say you average 15, but you're only on the road 6.5 hours, okay, let's let's bump it up to 7 hours. So 7 hours times 15 stops per unload hour, that's 105 stops. Let's get to 105, and then once we get to 105, then we'll do 7 half hours, then we'll do 8. Obviously you can't go from 6 hours to 8 hours worth of work. You'll have anarchy with all your drivers, but you can start bumping up a half hour at a time, and it's not going to be near as noticeable. So start working on that and have those goals and give those to your BCs. And also too, your drivers should know the goals, because, you can't hit the goal without your BC knowing. Your BC can't hit their goals without the drivers knowing. Got to be communicated. I work for UPS and RPS, and as package handlers, we all had goals that we had to hit, and we knew what those goals were. As I moved up to, supervisor, I knew that, we had goals, and I had to, keep package handlers updated on what the goals were. As I moved up to terminal manager, same thing. Everyone's got to know the goals. That way, everyone's rowing in the same direction. That's all I got.
All right, excellent. I appreciate that input. Are there any other questions out there?
Ken, I have one.
Go ahead.
Can you show that? Was it the web app?
Yeah.
How did you access that? Is that via our phones or on this?
Yeah, that's going to be on your phone or a tablet.
Okay.
So let me stop this share here. Share screen. Phone. Here. Yeah, you download the eTruckBiz P&D driver app. I'm sorry, the eTruckBiz optics app. Good Lord, I'm sorry. Been talking too much. So it's called the eTruckBiz P&D optics app. So I clicked that, and I said, then when you would log in, this is what you would see. And you can update it throughout the day. So if I hit this arrow button there, it will update. I just don't want to do it because it normally takes, since we're pulling from the FedEx API, it normally takes about two minutes to update. Okay.
Okay. I didn't have the app, so it's downloading now. Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah. And like I said, getting those payroll rolls in on your employees in the employee setup file is absolutely important. So that you've got worthwhile information right here. Okay. Our competitors have something similar to the productivity part, this part here, but they don't have anything about this operating margins. And if you're not looking at your operating margin every day, guess what? You're gonna lose that battle. But if I'm looking at it every day, making adjustments, if I lose one day, I win the next, I win the next, I win the next. Guess what? I know that week's going to take care of itself. And when I take care of every week, I know the month's going to take care of itself. And then I know the year's going to take care of itself. Okay. Any other questions out there? Fantastic. Said in the chat was the link to the free trial. If you are a base tier subscriber and you don't have access to the OpMetrics and the Optics app, or even the scheduling function that's in here that I didn't show you, and would like to upgrade to the standard tier, it's only $5 more per truck per month. So unbelievable value for that. You get the e-route, you get everything that I just showed you as well for $5 more a truck. Let us know if you'd like to upgrade to that. So with that, thank you again. If you want a deeper dive, reach out to me. I'll absolutely set up a demo for you. I'm available most days after 11 o'clock Eastern. Thank you again for your time. And everybody, please have a safe, profitable week. Thank you very much.